Hey guys, welcome back to day 14 of my channel. You only get one chance, right? Obviously you can tell I've got something going on here. This is a 72-hour EEG that I'm going to be participating in. So the next several videos will probably have me looking like this. For those of you that don't know what an EEG is, it is a test that measures brain waves. So I have electrodes placed all along my head. That's what all these lovely colorful cords are. I have this little tote bag that I've got to carry around with me everywhere I go. I did have to choose which room to be in though, because I am stuck, I guess. Well, let me be more positive. I am stationary in that room for the next 3 days. So it was either like obviously my bedroom or the living room, and I chose the living room only because I didn't really want to be isolated in my bedroom for the next 3 days because I've been isolated in there a lot. Plus we have family potentially just coming to visit this weekend, and I don't want to just not be able to interact with them. So I chose the living room. So the downside of choosing the living room means that I actually have to sleep out here as well, because there is a camera that is right over that direction that is watching me and watching all the movements I do, because if they see any seizure activity, they also want to be able to see it on camera as to what my body is doing during those episodes. So this is the 72-hour EEG that I talked about in one of my earlier vlogs. This is really just to rule out epilepsy, because a lot of the time, like I've told you guys before, PNES or psychological non-epileptic seizures, which is one of the conditions I have, a lot of time goes hand in hand with epilepsy. So they're trying to completely rule it out, and this is the test that is going to do so. So I think this is my last neurological test that I'm going through. To say I am miserable would probably be accurate. This head garment that I am wearing, a wonderful lady came out to my house and put all of this on and put all the electrodes on different places in my head, and marked it and did all that kind of stuff. For those of you that have had an EEG before, comment below. I would love to know about your experiences. If you've done, because I've done like hour-long ones in the doctor's office. This will be the first one I've ever done at home for 72 hours. I have done one in the hospital for that long, but it was many, many, many years ago. So this is my first one at home, and to not be able to move around, and this here it's a lot of weight that I didn't realize. So right now I won't lie to you, like I'm pretty uncomfortable, but I am happy that this will hopefully be the last thing to rule out epilepsy. And then I can be taken off of my epilepsy medication, I hope. That means I will be able to have caffeine again and chocolate and maybe a glass of wine from now and then. Because when I started my epilepsy medication back last October, I cannot have all of those fun things because of the epilepsy medication. So I am obviously hoping to rule out epilepsy entirely. It's like a love-hate relationship between having epilepsy or having PNES or even having both. Epilepsy, obviously there's medication that you can take that usually makes it better and you can live your daily life. PNES, psychological non-epileptic seizures, which is one of the disorders that I have, is a lot more complicated. It's delving into trauma and psychological trauma that I've had. And so having to deal with that obviously takes longer than just taking a pill. They've told me, sadly, there's no magical pill for what I have. So I have to deal with that. And in dealing with that, I am in hours of therapy and physical therapy and occupational therapy. Just trying to get a hold of my life again and really get it back on track to where I would be happy with it. Right now, I have good days and I have bad days. Sadly, today has been a kind of day. It's not an awful day by any means, but I'm not in as high of spirits as I have been for the last couple of days. Honestly, I think a lot of that has to do with anxiety, and as you all know, if you've watched my earlier vlogs, I finally cleaned my closet and my room, and that took a lot out of me. And I know saying that sounds so weird, that cleaning my room took so much out of me that I'm just not feeling it. Sadly, that is where my threshold lies, right? Of what I'm able and what I'm capable to do. It's amazing what stress and trauma and worrying and things can do to your body. Anxiety, depression, PTSD. I honestly, before this adventure, never thought that my physical symptoms and the things that I was experiencing physically had anything to do with my mind. I thought it had to do everything with my brain and the activity in my brain. And the brain and the mind, obviously, we talk about them as one thing sometimes, so I'll say them interchangeably a lot. But in reality, they're really two different things. The brain is, and I learned this in therapy, so I'm going to pass it along to you. A lot of people think that when we have anxiety and when we have depression, we get on medication. Medication is like a fix-all, right? Oh, you should be feeling better because you've been on medication for a month. Or, oh, you should be able to do these things because you've been on medication for a couple of months. When in reality, medication only allows us to deal with the anxiety and depression. We still have to heal from it. Anxiety, depression, PTSD, all of the things, right? DID, the dissociative disorder I have, the dissociative identity disorder, PNES, the psychological non-epileptic seizures, are all health conditions. They're disorders. So the brain is an organ, just like any other organ in your body. When it is damaged, it still takes time to heal. So what that medication is doing is giving your brain the time to heal without overloading, right? That's what the medication is supposed to help with. But the medication doesn't make it go away. You still have to deal with the underlying issue. And especially in mental health, it's hard to talk about sometimes because we have to admit then that something's wrong, right? We have to admit that something in our lives has been traumatic or overwhelming or so stressful that we couldn't handle it alone. And now we're needing this aid, right? We're needing psychiatrists, psychologists, neurologists, your just regular PCPs, just your regular doctors, all of these things, right? We're needing all these people now, and we couldn't handle it on our own. And for me, that's a really hard pill to swallow because I've prided myself on the fact, I don't know that that's a word. I apologize, I'm a little tired. But I've been proud of the fact that I handled it, right? And I handled it on my own. I met with one of my psychologists today, and he was like, okay, so tell me about your past, therapies and all this stuff and medications and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I really haven't. I mean, every once in a while I'd go to the neurologist over the years and just make sure my brain was still okay, because when I was younger, they kept telling me everything was okay. Everything came back normal. And he's like, so you haven't had any help dealing with all this trauma that you've experienced? And it's like, no, I did it. I mean, what other choice was there? I didn't have another choice. So he was astonished at the fact that I haven't really reached out before this, but he also confirmed what I learned with one of my psychiatrists. I believe it was last week when I talked to you guys about this, that anxiety, depression, PTSD, all of the things, the bipolar disorder, psychosis, all of the mental health things that are still a little taboo to talk about, right? It's getting better, but they're still pretty taboo to talk about, come from somewhere. Something causes it. And a lot of the time we think that these symptoms arise in our darkest times, right? In the times that we're just so overwhelmed and there's new stressors and there's new problems in our lives and things in our worlds. And mine, to be honest with you, my experience has been completely opposite. Before this, I had finally felt like I was, growing in my career and doing the right things. And I was really loving and really enjoying my job. And, we have a beautiful house that we rent, and my husband's doing great in his job, and our marriage is doing great. And then this felt like it came out of the blue. But in reality, and what I've now had confirmed by one psychiatrist and one psychologist, is the good sometimes brings the bad. So because I was in a good place for the first time, I finally felt safe. I finally felt secure, that my body decided, okay, I can release all of this. Everything that I've been holding in, now you're okay to handle. And in reality, do I think I'm able to handle it? We do the best that we can with what we have, and we reach out for help in what we need. And honestly, if I were to continue to battle this by myself like I was doing for the longest time, and feeling really awful, I really don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't reached out for help when I did, because I was so far in everything going on, and I blamed myself over and over again. I blamed myself for giving myself the anxiety, for giving myself the depression, and not even realizing that there were other underlying conditions that I've never addressed before in my life. And I've never had anybody, even ask questions about those, or diagnose me with those things, or even dig down deep enough to realize I have these disorders and these problems. And I blame myself, and I still do it. I still catch myself doing it. And I think it's something that I'll do pretty much my entire journey is, what if I would have gotten help sooner? What if I would have gotten help years ago? Would it be any different? Would I be any different? Would I be in the place that I'm in? And the reality is, we need the help when we need the help, right? Several years ago, if you would have asked me, do I need a 72-hour EEG, or do I need to be placed in a behavioral center for a week, or 2 of them in a month for that matter, I would have been like, absolutely not. That's not something that I need. Well, when we finally need things is when it's the hardest to reach out for them, because we feel like we've had control of it and we've managed it for however long we've been managing things. And this vlog is all about getting the help that you need. And it is a bumpy road. I have high days, I have low days, I have days where I just don't want to get out of bed. I have days where I feel like I'm pulling my hair out. I have days I just want to go back to work. I love what I do, and not being able to do that and not being able to have that distraction from everything is incredibly hard, because I'm having to face trauma and things that have happened in my life that I haven't faced in a very, very, very long time. And that scares a lot of people. And then asking for help means that we can't handle it on our own. And for somebody like me, I'm a fixer, right? Like, you give me a problem, I'm going to solve it. You give me anything that needs to be fixed, and I'll fix it. That is who I am. And so I'm so blessed to have the support that I do in my husband and in my mom and in my family and my friends, because I reached out for the help. And had I not reached out for the help when I did, this vlog probably wouldn't have been happening if I'm being completely honest. I don't know where I would be. And not everybody has a great support system like I do. There are some of you that are watching this that are going through anxiety and depression or PTSD or bipolar or schizophrenia or anything like that, and feeling like you're all alone. And I sometimes feel like that even though I do have the support system. Nobody can know what you're going through except for you. Everyone's paths and everyone's symptoms and everyone's disorders, we all experience them differently. They're all very unique. And it's really hard to relate to others when they haven't been through the things that you've been through. I sit in group therapy that I'm in now, and I will tell you, the first couple days, I just did not want to be there. Didn't want to be there. I'm like, I already know this. They're just teaching me things I already know. I've already been through this. And what I realized is I felt like I couldn't relate to anybody. Even sitting in a room full of people, not full, but a room of people that suffer from some of the same things that I do. They don't suffer from all of the things I do, right? I have yet to interact with somebody that has DID. I've yet to interact with somebody that has PNES, and none of the people in my group therapy right now have those disorders, and those are the ones that I'm struggling with the most. So you still feel isolated and alone regardless of the support that you have. And like I said, I'm blessed to have the support I have, and I know a lot of people don't, and many of you watching this may not have that kind of support. But I'm here to listen. I'm here to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm here to be completely and utterly real. No filters, no playing the game or being not me. And people may like it, they may hate it, but this is, who I am, and this is what I'm going through, and this is what I'm experiencing. And I'm really hoping that this helps somebody. Like I said, I think it was the first day of my vlog, if this helps just one person, then that's what this was meant to do. It's very therapeutic for me. It's very, beneficial for my family to watch these, to understand what I'm really going through, because a lot of the time it's so much easier to talk to a camera than a person. These days we hide behind them. And even though I've had some really tough conversations in person with my husband and with my mom about how I'm feeling about all these things, it's never the complete and utter truth. We tend to hide the ugly things because we don't want to be judged, or we don't want to burden them with our burdens. We don't want to share them because we don't want to have them carry them, right? But I'm here to tell all of you that while this sucks and I am uncomfortable and I really just want to go lay in my bed, I know that I'm on a path to recovery, and that's encouraging. And it's motivating even on the days where I don't feel like it is and I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm still moving in a direction other than backwards. And for me, and for my family, and for my friends, and everybody watching this, that's a step forward, even if I don't see it as one some days. So if you're out there and you're struggling, please feel like you can reach out to me. You can reach out to your friends, your family, and really get that support you need, get the help that you need. If you do not have that support system, know that it is out there. It may not be perfect. Like I said, my group therapy, trust me, is not perfect, and I still feel isolated, but I'm learning and I'm getting things out of it because I've opened my mind to being able to actually entertain these ideas that they're teaching. And I've learned a lot, even though I feel like I already know it and it's stuff that I already know. Hearing it from somebody else and listening to other people's stories and perspectives is an incredibly humbling and incredibly enlightening experience. I am going to go for the evening. I'm hoping that my mom's bringing back pie from the House of Pies. I'm really excited. I've never had their pie before, and honestly, all I'm craving is apple pie right now, but that's another story. So I will let you guys go. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much for following. Please make sure that you subscribe, comment below, like. I will respond to every comment that I see. Sometimes if it's people that I know that are really close to me, know that I am reaching out, not always on like the comment section of this channel, but I am so blessed to have you guys follow this experience, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully a positive attitude. That's what I'm hoping for. So have a great night, guys. Love you all. Bye.